Hi, my name is Frank Puranik. I'm a product manager for the NE1 product. So this is formerly of iTrinegy, now of course of Calnex. So I'm here today to tell you more about the product, about the kind of customers we have, why they buy it, and so on. So I'll be going through this short presentation, which includes an embedded video, and hopefully you'll enjoy that. And by the end, you should know a lot about why customers care and how we position the product relative to the other products in the range. Thanks very much. Let's get going. First of all, what is the NE1? Well, it's a network emulator. You're thinking, wow, we've already got two of those. We've got Atero, we've got the SNE. Why would we need another network emulator? So why the NE1? What's the point? Well, there's an interesting market for it, and it's been described as the enterprise market. So this is a network emulator focused on enterprise. Well, for that, we can only say sort of. We never really focus it on the enterprise. We actually focus it on applications. But as applications are integral to enterprises, both internally and customer facing, that's absolutely the reason for the product. Now, we distance ourselves slightly from the term of emulator, and it's precisely because there are so many different things, network simulators, network emulators around. What we say is that the NE1 lets customers create a software-defined test network. They're not buying an emulator. They're buying the ability to have a network of their choice in their environment, which isn't just a lab. So how can you get an NE1? Well, it comes on a number of platforms. The original platforms were hardware platforms, like the rack mounts that you see on the left. But then there were desktop systems, as we realized that sometimes the test lab for a user was the corner of their desk. And of course, more recently, and something very interesting to Calnex, is that the NE1 is available as a virtual solution. We have it ready for VMware and OpenStack. We've just been certified for AWS. It's gone onto the AWS marketplace. And we've been working on Azure for a little while now, and that's work in progress. We aim to complete and get that certified for their store as well. So lots of ways to use the product. So what matters to our customers? I've borrowed here from the world of houses, location, 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 right? Well, here it's application, application, application. What are we looking for? What are customers looking for as their outcomes? Well, they don't want to have fixed costs. They'd rather not have customer and user complaints that are related to the network. They're very hard to test. They want to increase their customer and user satisfaction, which hopefully for certain kinds of app leads to star ratings, and star ratings sell products. And of course, they want to stop using their customers as application beta testers for real-world networks. That is frequently what has occurred before. What I'd like to do now is to play you our short corporate video, about 2.5 minutes, because really it reinforces this and talks about the application. Let's go.
We live in a connected world, a world full of networks. Networks that we rely on to make our business a success. Whether you are working in government, military, finance, game development, healthcare, broadcasting, or something else entirely, the performance of your applications are reliant on the networks they traverse. iTrinegy's software-defined test networks, SDTN, provide you with a way to analyze, predict, and verify application performance before deploying into potentially challenging network environments. Our technology allows you to effectively manage your digital products and brand, reducing deployment costs and risk at the same time as improving quality. Whether it's moving to the cloud, building realistic dev test and DevOps cloud environments, undertaking network transformations such as implementing VPNs or SD-WAN, launching a mobile app, planning major infrastructure projects such as data center consolidation or interconnect solutions, or any other program that exposes potential application performance issues due to the network, organizations need an iTrinegy SDTN. SDTN is a powerful and extensive solution with setup wizards, pre-installed network examples, scenario builder, and built-in geolocation properties calculator. So even network novices will be able to create boundless test network topologies. From simple point-to-point circuits to comprehensive meshed or cloud network environments in order to verify networked application performance and behavior. With a client base of over 700 organizations around the world already relying on our technology, we are confident that we have the right solution for you too. iTrinegy, knowing you're network ready.
So, summarizing what we've just heard, networks are not there for the purposes of the network itself or the networks team. In many ways, they're like roads. Roads are there to take cars from where they are to their destination. In the same way, networks are there to take network traffic from clients to servers, from servers to servers, to allow businesses to move data around and do their work. So it's application performance in the real world that really matters. It doesn't matter how it performed in our lab or our LAN or something like that, because when we get to the real world, the networks can throw some challenges at us, just as on any day, a road might be busy and throw some challenges at us for our journey. And we need to make sure we can work in those conditions. So before releasing an application, which might be from a development point of view or a test point of view, or the deploying of an application into our network, we need to make sure we've tested it in our real-world network. And when we say real-world network, that might be different to real network, because like a road, a real network is just in whatever conditions it is as you encounter it at that moment. It might be lightly loaded, and so not be a really valid test for those times when it's busy. The same way the network can be lightly loaded in a real network, whereas using the NE1, we can create a real-world network at its worst. If we're changing the network that an application has been perfectly satisfied with before, for example, we're using it in a data center that's local to its users, but we want to move it into a consolidated data center or into the cloud, then we're going to throw some challenges at that application never previously encountered in terms of network use. And we need to plan and test for that in order to ensure that it's successful. Some applications will work fine and some will really struggle to make that transition. We need to know which, and we need to have a plan. So the NE1 itself is a simple to use product. We can get it to create any network of our choice. It really has two methods of use. One is the very simple. It's aimed at people who are not necessarily network experts, but understand that the network can affect their application. But if we want we can make it as sophisticated as necessary. And in the hands of a network engineer, they can express sophisticated networks like mesh structures and cloud structures, and even draw out their organization's primary network. And that allows them to conduct a test that's really valid. So whichever way you go, we've tried to make the simple simple and the complex as simple as it possibly could be. And the idea is knowing that our application is network ready. And when we say network ready, that means ready for the network that it will have to use, not some perfect network that we found available at the time. So what do our customers actually care about? Well, what they don't care about is testing the network. A bit like a road. The road is whatever it is. The network is whatever it is. We're not testing that. We're testing the application in that network. How well will it work? Does it work well enough? In fact, can it ever work well enough? And what we might need to do to mitigate that, improve the network, improve the application. So, as we said right at the very beginning, it's all about the application. Application, application, application.